All right, I'm gonna keep this one real brief. Just jump straight into the topic. So I just want to talk about dieting, plant-based foods versus processed meats and junk foods. Which is better to build muscle and lose fat? The answer should be obvious, right? Apparently it's not though. People are still hung up on the myth that you need animal meat in order to build muscle because otherwise you won't be able to get protein. But the fact remains that you're not getting as much amino acids from animal meat as you are from fruit. Fruit has complete proteins in it that you actually need to build muscle and to lose fat as well too. It just depends on what type of training you're doing, all right? So when you're eating an animal in order to get your protein, you're really only getting half of it because the animal itself got the protein from plants in the first place, all right? And so what does that tell you? That tells you that the only way to get protein is by consuming something that has the, how should I say, the nutrients that a plant has within it. So why not just cut out the middleman and go straight to the source itself for what it is that you need to build muscle? Do you get what I'm saying? It's just a simple concept, and yet science researchers try to stretch the truth in order to confuse people and make that money. Because it's really all about profiting off of people's health at the end of the day. All right? This world doesn't really want you to be truly healthy because then that's going to, of course, liberate you from the system and ruin their chances at becoming filthy, stinking rich off of your health mishaps, off of your bad health habits and eating habits. You get what I'm saying? So anyways, the point I want to make here is that in order to actually get the most out of your workouts and out of your training regimen, you need to eat plant-based whole foods. So yes, you can build muscle by eating fruits and vegetables. In fact, you'll build them a lot easier, like I said, than you would eating meat. And I know that's something that just seems so hard to believe because you've been brainwashed your entire life to believe that you need to eat a big steak that you can barely digest in order to get bigger and stronger, but that's actually the opposite of the truth, all right? Why would nature have you consume something that comes with so many risks just for you to be able to put on muscle? Do you think the divine would make a mistake such as that? No. Fruits were specifically designed and intended for man to eat and consume to not only be healthy, but to be strong at the same time. So our bodies are mostly made out of water. Therefore, what you need more than protein is actually carbohydrates. You need to make sure that your muscles are hydrated. And it's actually peculiar because of the fact that the same fitness gurus that preach about how you need animal meat in order to get your protein and build muscle are the same ones that also advocate for you needing to stay hydrated because your muscles are mostly made out of water anyways. Your muscles need water, you need to be hydrated. But yet they couldn't admit the fact that fruits would be beneficial towards your muscles, even though they're saying that you can literally build your muscle by being hydrated by drinking a whole gallon of water down. You know what I'm saying? First of all, H2O isn't as beneficial for you as H3O is because H3O, which comes from fruits, has a lot more nutrients and components that your body actually needs in order to be completely healthy and function at its highest potential. Okay. So once again, what you mostly need in order to build muscle on a plant-based diet is carbs. good carbs, of course, such as fruit. Hence the word carbohydrate. There's no mistakes in the language, all right? So, with that said, you need mostly carbs. It's like you need about 80 to 70% carbs, maybe about 30 to 20% proteins, and like 15 to 10% fats in your diet if you really want to build a really healthy and structured physique. You know what I'm saying? So just know that you just need to mostly eat fruit, and that's about it. I know it sounds so simple, but it's like I mentioned in my intro video. I'm going to keep everything as simple as possible, just so there's no confusion. And so you can just cut straight through and get straight to the source and get straight to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to try to make everything sound all fancy just to sound like an expert, because I'm not selling you nothing. I'm not convincing you of nothing. I'm giving you this actual truthful knowledge and information. I am speaking from experience here, okay? And it's so funny because I haven't even spent a whole year eating a raw vegan diet, and yet just from being on it for a couple of months and working out, I'm seeing a lot better progress, both physically and internally, than I did when I was eating processed junk foods and meats. All right. I'm living proof to myself that whole foods are 10 times better to help you build muscle mass and to be healthy than it is to eat anything else. And again, it's the food that God, the creator of this whole entire universe, intended for us human beings to eat. Okay? Every species has a species specific diet. And so, with that said, that includes us too. And you're specifically designed to eat what it is that you're supposed to be eating. So if you were supposed to be eating animals, guess what? You'd have razor sharp claws. You'd have super sharp teeth as well too. And you'd be able to run up to speeds at least what? 30 miles an hour minimum, maximum 70 miles an hour like a cheetah. You get what I'm saying? But you can't. Why? Because you're not supposed to be running after anything to hunt for food. You're not supposed to be hunting. You're not a hunter. You're a human being, a divine being. You're supposed to be eating the fruit that was given to us by the Creator. You're able to reach up into trees and pick things from them and consume them right then and there. And that's another thing too. It's okay to eat cooked foods if they're nature grown foods like beans and quinoa and stuff like that. That is actually good for you, but it's always much better to eat raw foods, raw living foods like fruit. And if you are going to eat vegetables, it's also better to either cook them or juice them in order to actually be able to absorb everything from those vegetables, because of the cellular wall is hard to break down inside of our bodies. We don't have that type of system in our bodies like animals do that eat vegetation all day. But you'll still benefit from eating, some kale or something like that, you know what I'm saying, or a carrot. It's just, it's easier for your body to digest vegetables when they're in like a puree form, or when you cook the vegetables to break down that cellular wall. So, with that said, always stick to fruits when it's all said and done, and you'll be straight. You can incorporate vegetables. You can still eat cooked food, quinoa, teff, spelt, um, beans, wild rice, all that stuff. But it's always just great to just go with raw natural foods. And of course, you have to eat an abundance of it too. Even if you were still eating meat and processed junk foods, you still have to eat that in a caloric surplus in order to even gain in the first place. So, of course, it's the same thing with fruit. So, if you want to get bigger while eating fruit, then you're going to need to eat more fruit and take more calories. And of course, do some resistance training, whether it is calisthenics or weightlifting. And that's it. It's that simple. Ain't nothing else to it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't overthink this stuff. And you can go on Google and just search in a calorie calculator and put in your weight and then multiply that by 15, and it'll let you know how much calories you should be consuming in order to either gain or lose weight. So that's that. And I also want to mention that fruit is a blessing because it works on both ends, like I said, for whether you want to gain muscle or whether you want to lose weight. And so, with that said, if you want to lose weight, all you have to do is just eat fruit and do some light exercise. Like, you don't need to go crazy in the gym and sweat your butt off in order to actually lose weight. It's really the diet itself that transforms your body more than anything. You could just consider exercise and the icing on the cake. So, fruit is a natural fat burner in the first place and a natural detoxifier. If you're eating fruit alone, you're already going to lose weight, especially if you're not eating in a caloric surplus. So it's the best of both worlds either way it goes. It's either eat more fruit and train with resistance training if you want to get bigger, or eat less fruit and do light exercise if you want to lose weight. And you'll see fast results, like crazy fast results. We're talking like just a couple of months tops, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you're actually taking it seriously and you're consistent with it. Okay. So I think that covers everything. And if you do have any questions, just, of course, contact me through any means that you feel comfortable with, and I'll see how I can help you out and we'll work something out for you. All right. So that said, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Take tremendous care of yourself.